Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Stays Wet with your girl, Joanna Devine. Hi. So as you guys can see, once again, I have another amazing guest that we've been really anxiously waiting for. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing today. But before we do, I just want to thank you for your continued love and support. You guys have really been ride or dies with me, and I just am so excited. We're at 974 subscribers, so we're only like 26 away from becoming that bitch. So if you like what you see and you like what you're about to hear, please continue to subscribe. It only helps the channel. Continue to like the videos, share the videos, and love, and turn on your notifications for when new videos are launched.
But I want to get emotional, but having my husband Andre has been so amazing because I'm gonna cry because I love
that was gonna happen. Because when you talk about certain people, it's just like you can't help yourself.
I can't help it.
The last part of the question is describe how we knew the moment that we were family.
We just kind of knew.
I knew from that conversation on the phone after Natasha hung up.
The same. Right after we had hung up, I just knew that this was somebody who was going to be in my life for a very, very, very long time.
About 20 more years, if I'm
at least. I mean, shit.
I'm moving in with you. I'm going to be like Sophia from the Golden Girl.
So now what I'm doing, I'm actually taking some more of the concealer and I'm buffering it onto her eyelid because mom doesn't use an eyeshadow base, which, you know, it is what it is. I prefer it. Don't judge she swears up and down that this concealer works just as great. So we shall see. You know, I come from an old school MAC counter where you would use a primer for this, a primer for that, a base for that, and then set it with the powder.
And a lot of times you don't need, like, okay, so let's call a spade a spade. Every brand is going to have its niche products, right? And they're going to try to move them and say, you know, this goes with this and that goes with that for retail impact. It's really about building the business. So when you're building an eye, they never wanted us to just move one product. It was always eyeshadow base, eyeshadow, contour shadow, brow pencil, 2 brushes, so on and so forth to build our money. But in real life, there are ways to get around those things. That's what I was trying to say.
Exactly.
So let's talk about real life.
Okay. But before that, I just want to show you
my Tom Ford.
The Tom Ford palette.
Shout out to my girl from Tom Ford. She gave me
the palette Eye Color Ombre in Honeymoon. So I'm going to go in with this color here all over her lid.
So while he's doing that, the impact of chosen families in the LGBTQ community, discuss the importance of chosen family. The importance of chosen family is huge. Chosen family has not always been a thing. Let me go back a little bit. In the 40s, even 20s, 10s, when there really was no LGBTQ community, they were just underground.
LGBT.
Yeah, no, even LG. It was just LG. They didn't know anything. Back in those days where they had underground balls, that was the beginning of the idea of chosen family. So like, if you couldn't be yourself in a day-to-day scenario at a time when homosexuality, anything of that nature was considered against the law, you know, when trans women would go out and become, you know, targets, they would strip them down, and if they weren't wearing 2 items of clothing that are tied to their gender at birth, they would throw them in jail. So that's why, which is insane to me. So protecting one another became more than just, I'm your best friend. Like when your family would kick you out, when your family doesn't talk to you, when your family doesn't, you know, look for you, and they put you out on the street and they feed you to the wolves, a lot of times you're going to run into people that are similar to you, that have similar, you know, upbringings, similar experiences, and it's just going to draw you two together. The importance of chosen family is so huge, especially now, when once again, the community is under attack. And we just have to be mindful of each other's safety and love. But it becomes more than that. It becomes a camaraderie. It becomes sisterhood, brotherhood, motherhood, fatherhood. It becomes all the things that a lot of us were told that we were never.
Okay, so for me, like a chosen family, I've had to really create my family over the years. Again, coming from the middle of nowhere in Michigan, born and raised in literally the middle of nowhere, when the nearest neighbor is about a quarter mile down the street. It's cornfields and woods, and then more cornfields, and there's a farm. And then I worked on my aunt and uncle's pig farm at the age of 13, and I shoveled pig shit.
Charlotte's Web.
And so you're in very, very much the country life, and being that way out there in the middle of nowhere, being anyone of the queer umbrella, you're just not accepted. You're honestly the odd man out. It's just not appeasable. I was really bullied growing up, to the extent where a kid wrote a 3-page letter on how he was going to murder me in high school, and my family in the school did nothing to protect me. That's what really drove a huge division, because my parents, when they were told by the police officer at the school that this kid could be put in jail for up to 10 years in prison for premeditated murder, my parents said they didn't want to ruin that boy's life. And it really drove a huge wedge between us. And I never felt like I was ever going to be accepted anywhere or be brought in or make it. I never thought I was going to make it to the age of 37 that I am now. So when I graduated high school, I left, moved to Florida. And that was my first time ever stepping into the queer community, because when I was a kid, the queer community, I was told, had an agenda that was to destroy good Christian families, to break apart families, to bring chaos onto this world. And we do not. And it's just the misinformation that so many people are fed. My mom and dad are very loving, caring people. It's just they were fed a bunch of bullshit by the church that they had been going to. So the color that I'm using now is the next one in line. I'm going to do a nice little contour around her eye. And it's going to be this lighter brown. And I'm using the same brush. Like, I had done her brows. I laid the concealer under her brow, on her eyelid, and the base color. So I'm really going to use the hell out of this brush.
I told you, you got to be crafty.
Hey.
And then before we go any further, I just want to actually give a shout out to Cody's parents. Because like most parents, not all, but like most, they have grown and they have come to a beautiful place of understanding with their child. There's still a lot of work to do, but they have embraced me wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm. My mom loves you.
Yeah, so Cody is truly blessed. Unfortunately, trauma happens, and it's not about, back then. It's about now. Like, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it to better the world and to better the next generation? And I can truly say that Cody has come a long way. And part, in fact, to his mother. So from one mother to another, I love you, honey. And thank you for bringing him into my life. And without you, there would be no him. You're a badass bitch in my eyes.
Yes, she is. And so also, just to break up the shimmer, I'm using the color Kid by MAC Cosmetics. It's a nice little off brown mauve matte, and I just wanted to break up all the shimmer just so it's not a bunch of shimmer all over her eye. You want to give it a little definition, break it up.
So speaking of breaking it up, number 3, what were our first impressions and funny stories? Share your first impressions of each other and any funny, memorable moments.
Oh, man, first impression. Mm-hmm. To see this lady as who she is now is so different than the first impression of the person who I met before. She was always an amazing person, but she has grown into this beautiful, beautiful butterfly. She has found herself. She has she's continuing on a daily basis to find herself, but she is growing as a whole. So her first impression, I was like, wow. She's beautiful. I mean, look at her. She really don't need a whole lot done, but she's still she's beautiful. Inside and out.
My first impressions of you. You have the kindest eyes, and they remind me of Bambi. And I used to love that movie. That was one of the first movies my mother took me to. You kind of remind me of a cross between Bambi and Thumper.
Not Thumper.
Because you have like really funny energy, and when you laugh, it is so silly, but you have such a big heart. A funny story. Let me think. Oh. So, I think it was the second time I went to visit him in LA. We had gone out to this club in West Hollywood, and it was the night that I met Billy Porter. And they didn't tell me that these drinks were gonna be
at the chapel and the Abbey.
Yeah, so they didn't tell me these drinks were gonna be as strong as they were. I think I had 2 and show them the dance I did.
Falling back on her heels.
I didn't fall.
Close. Andre had to catch her.
Oh wait, he did catch.
He did.
But that was a funny night. And then honestly, anytime that we just find ways to like laugh. Like last night, we were watching the Top 1%. It's this new reality show. Not a reality show, but it's like a reality game show hosted by Patton Oswalt. And it tests your knowledge against the other 99 people in the room. And depending on how far you go, you can reach all the way to the end of the top 1%. And if you win, you can win up to $100,000. So I know that I'm intelligent, but I'm not intelligent when I smoke. I'm not. I become like this ditzy, silly person because I'm always so serious in my day-to-day life. Like, to be silly around people I love is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart because not a lot of people get to see that side of me. You guys do, because I laugh with you guys all the time. But people in my day-to-day life, if you're not in my intimate circle or like outside of that circle by just like maybe 2 degrees of separation, you don't get to see that side of me. So like when we were sitting on the couch last night, and I wasn't getting the answers, he was making fun of me. Like, he had all these little side-eye comments, and then he would look at me and go, like that, giving me these little side eyes, and I just was laughing because he was out on the first question, but has the nerve to make fun of me.
It's hot in here.
Yes, because we can't do the AC.
The AC
because it messes
loud.
up with the microphone. So, am I sweating that bad?
No, but I'm just as bad. I got sweat dripping out my face.
Oh, okay.
This light is hot as hell.
Yes, it is. It's good. It's the one you recommended.
Mm-hmm. It's a great light. It's just hot.
And it's the middle of summer. So, and New York City's humidity is out of control. What's a funny memory you have of me?
I mean, I think we always have so many funny moments. There's really not one funny moment.
Ooh, I can think of one.
I mean, she can. I think on a daily basis, we'll have multiple funny moments that it's so hard to pick and choose which one. Every day this past week has been so amazing. Just a lot of love has been shared, a lot of laughter, a lot of
sweat.
Gloves. So right now, what I had done, I placed Sketch from MAC Cosmetics, one of my staple favorite colors. I use Sketch for everything.
It's one of the ones I kept.
It is one of the best.
And that, you know how old that eyeshadow is?
Oh,
it's over 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't go bad.
They don't ever go bad. Being a powder form, it just does not go bad on the lids.
And the pigment is so intense you don't need a lot.
You don't need a lot. I had to shear this out. So I had used her pencil blending brush to apply it, and then once again, this is like a 217 by MAC, but I don't know the brand of this one is, but it's really good.
Neither one of us have been with
blends.
MAC for years, and we can't stop talking about MAC because the way that MAC back in the day trained us, there's nothing like it in the world
at all.
It was like a makeup boot camp. They send you away for a week into something called basic training. And then every month you have updates. Every like other month there's fashion show certification. There's always a level of training. Like we had to do face charts all the time, and we had to submit them to our managers to show them how good we were doing. I was with them for 8 years, and you were with them for
10. I was about 8 too, about 8 or 9. So what I'm using now, I'm gonna come to the face. I'm gonna come back to the eyes and finish the eyes, like to start and then finish the eyes.
And I'm not looking into the end.
I'm going to use the Power Grip by ELF, which is amazing. This will hold yourself all day on your face. And I'm using their brush by ELF, the dual fiber. And so I'm gonna sweep under here because I really want to knock away any fall down that I had from the shadow, which was very minimal because I barely used any. But then I'm gonna buff around, primer out.
So to any of you that live in LA or in the surrounding area, definitely we're gonna put Cody's information on the information now. You can. Cody is an amazing masseuse, and he travels around California and around the country.
18 years.
For 18 years, he's a licensed masseuse. So once you have a massage by him, it's a wrap. He's gotten great reviews. His clients are loyal. So the next question is very similar to number 3, more favorite memories and things of that nature. So we can actually, I really do have a favorite memory, and it involves my Aunt Cheryl. So as quickly as I embraced Cody into my life, I shared my blood family, not just my chosen family, but I also shared my blood family with him because that's the depth of our relationship. Because it's more than chosen family now. It's at a different level. It don't even, I can't even say chosen anymore. Like, I feel like you came out of me. I talk about him all the time. And at that time, my aunt who lives in Florida, hi Cheryl.
Hi Auntie.
She was wanting to travel, and we wanted to spend Thanksgiving together. And I had a bright idea, as I always do, to have Thanksgiving in LA for the, what was that, the second time? The second time. It's the second time.
It was the second time.
For the second time, because the first time I came there and I cooked dinner, and oh my God, that was so wonderful. It was really good. We had a wonderful time. But then it started to become a little tradition for us. So she flew out, I flew out, and we had Thanksgiving dinner in his little living room in his 1-bedroom apartment. And we played Monopoly, and it was just
a really amazing
time. That was special.
I think that day was a really bonding moment for the both of us. Mm-hmm. And also, she has been one of the most amazing ladies in my whole entire life. Not has she taken me in, but she has also taken my husband in as her son-in-law. Mm-hmm. And she continued as to give him the same amount of love, and it's genuine. It's so genuine. Even when me and my husband have had our little differences, as any marriage does, she has been there to coach us both in our relationship, to give us constructive advice, to give us affirming advice, to really be there. And I don't know what I would do without this woman in my life.
I told you I have me for 20 more years until I'm out.
Well, at least 20, but we're shooting for 30 or 40.
67. I don't want to live that long.
Well, guess what's going to happen?
Let me not put that in the universe, because by the time I get 67, I'm going to look like Shaka Khan, and she looks great.
Amazing.
So